get. And their expectation was probably lower than what I was gonna give them, and then they would go, oh, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I was, headed to. When he said, or she said, I think you're right. That's what I wanted to hear.
That's right.
And then just, be happy myself that I saw a happy customer walking out and making sure he was a returning customer.
See, and you actually delve into how you satisfy the customer. And you give them what they need versus what they want.
Exactly.
And you have to be able to identify the need, because what people want often is not exactly what they really need. And then when they understand what they need, all of a sudden you get that satisfaction. And part of it is, and you go right to the point, the issue is, okay, and you don't say okay, of course. Well, you want that, in car dealerships and selling cars, that's one of the typical issues a lot of people have. Or we'll just say buying groceries. Yeah, let's go back to groceries. And for the big craze right now is, my wife and I talk about it all the time, is gluten-free products. And a person goes in, they don't see, now I think they're required to actually put gluten-free on the product, but for a while that was not the case. But some of the people who worked in the store, they knew it was gluten-free, and a person could come in and say, well, I want gluten-free, but this package doesn't say it's gluten-free. And they say, well, if I give you this, and you know the issues that people have with gluten products or the systemic thing, you can say, well, if I give you this, these are some of the problems you may have. But, this product, although it doesn't say it, I know for a fact that it is gluten-free. And you can express it from that perspective, and people may say, no, that's right. Because they win. They win without knowing they won. But they get what they need versus what they wanted. Okay? Dave?
Okay. And the reason why I mentioned that when I saw Nina ago, I knew that she had years in customer service. She dealt with it every day. The other thing I was offered to Alfred and I, in our rollout at the site, he was my customer many times. And I would tell him to refer back to what we did to satisfy his need, and it's exactly what Nina just said. We identified what they needed. So we would do, in the training world, we call it a needs analysis. You and I would sit down and say, Alfred, what do you need? Right. Well, I need my guys trained. Okay, what does that mean? And one of the things that we do as a product in the training world, we get a design plan together. Here's what we intend to do to meet your need, Alfred. And you signed off on it before we ever went off and developed it. So if you can get your customers to at least give you, and the point Jay makes is, get them away from their distraction. Here's what you really need. I need a pump that does this. I don't care whether it's a Worthington pump, I don't care who makes it, what brand, but I need a pump that pumps 10 gallons per minute, and I need it to be able to do it all the time. And then you come back and you say, and many times I've seen where you've done that, a lot of things I say, here's a piece I would ask them to sign up to it. Because, and that's where that's where they start to back away.
Yeah, well, you see me do, we get that problem all the time. People are afraid. Well, they won't take, there's a difference between responsibility and
accountability. That's right.
Because what I have to deal with all the time, and he sees it out there all the time, is that they hold me accountable.
Right.
But all they say is that they're responsible for something, but then they walk away. They won't sign it. They won't agree to it, and they say, okay, if it goes well, they take credit for everything you've done.
That's right.
But if it doesn't go well, that you was accountable for that particular situation, and how come you didn't get it done right? And that's the battle we've been having with our customer, is that they are not signing up to what they want.
Now, that in fact is a different class. That's a totally different workshop.
That's the one.
Because that workshop is a class that I love to teach on, and I love to talk about, and that is a class on leadership and responsibility.
Right.
Something that has fallen apart in a lot of our business world, where leaders don't want the responsibility. They want to be a leader and stand up and say, I am in charge, but they don't want the responsibility, because then with responsibility becomes this little thing called risk.
Right. Yes.
You know, and all of a sudden it's leader, I don't want to take the risk for that. You know, now if I can get Alfred to take the risk for that, because I'm not expendable as the boss.
Right.
I mean, I got employees, you know, you guys, you take the risk for it. Okay, now remember, if you fail. See, the military went through a phase like that was called zero defect. And what they began to see is, as young lieutenants, young executives, those junior people that were coming up, there was a point where there was no tolerance for mistakes. You cannot run a business without mistakes.
Right.
You can't run an organization without mistakes. Somebody's going to make a mistake. And if you get to a point where you tell people that there's no mistakes, then you won't have a business. You really will not have a business. Because mistakes are how we grow. No one in an organization does everything absolutely perfect the first time. There is no organization like it. It can't exist. Because you grow from the things that you have failure in. And a lot of businesses did that. And we went to that paradigm some time ago, and now it went away, but I dare say I'm slowly seeing it move back in.
Yeah, that's the thing we was dealing with. It's kind of mixed with what she was saying. The person that makes a mistake is the one that's been doing your work.
That's right.
Okay, the one that never makes a mistake because of that paradigm that we was dealing with, they sit back and find a reason why they can't do that job, so they never have to do that job. So then we go crucify that one person that made a mistake, but he's the one that's doing the work for months. And so we have to stand up as the boss and say, "Oh, wait a minute, you don't crucify him because we got to find out what happened." There's something. He normally does that, so something caused that to go wrong. She was saying, what was the real root of the problem, not the symptom, because something had to change for that and deal with that. But most of the time here in the United States, because of time, they don't want to do that.
That's right.
All they want to do is just jump to, okay, we'll find another customer. And like on your tape that we had there, your video, and this is what I was going to ask too, I forgot, I wrote it down this time, is, are we dealing with workarounds? And I don't know if you know what I'm getting at there. For example, okay, that Jack in the Box or whatever it was supposed to provide fries and hamburger. Okay, if he knew that he was going to deal with that problem with the fry machine, why didn't he plan and have a workaround? Because that customer expected him to be able to provide fries. That's right. So he's got to figure out another way to provide it for that temporary time. And we don't do that enough.
That's right.
Anymore. So the schools don't teach on it. The things Jill and I talked about a lot with our girls is, what is our biggest thing we have to deal with in our whole life? It doesn't matter how young or old you are, is you got to deal with finances. There is no high school classes on dealing with finances. So what's wrong with the United States? You're off base. If you expect us to deal with it, you got to train the people on it, and there's no classes.
But see, that, sir, is where the niches come in for good groups like, again,
you pick a business.
You've got to find
you
business.
Find that hole.
That's right. And the business,
you fill that hole.
You're expressing a need that is great in the U.S. today.
Right.
And again, going back to the idea of workaround. See, for me, okay, if there was a great need for me to clean the fryer at that particular time in the day, then I would know who else around sells fries and say, hey, we're cleaning our fryer, but right across the street is Wendy's, and what's wrong with that? Because I'm still providing a service.
Or you change when you clean it.
That's right. Yeah. Or you change when you clean it.
Yeah.
Now, now there may have been extenuating circumstance that required, and we have to understand that there may have been an extenuating circumstance that said, well, the person who was supposed to clean the fryer that night didn't show up for work. That's another subject.
Okay, right.
Because we have
Right.
employees that just
Change.
don't show up.
That's right.
So something all of a sudden didn't happen,
Right.
but you got into
Got
the
it.
day, you realize that, hey, you know what, these
Got it.
fries aren't tasting
Right.
right.
I gotta
So
change it.
now do I keep making fries, or do I allow folks to walk away and with fries that taste like fish?
Right. Okay. Right.
I've had that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday was a prime example. We took our daughter up there to Boise State College.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Dillard's to find her a rug. They didn't have the rug that we was looking for, but the young lady told us the different places we can go to go find a rug for her. You know, it just wasn't, she didn't name the stores that was in the, you know, like Macy's, and we had already walked, but she didn't tell us though. She told us outside of the mall. So, and then the other guy, I guess it was her manager, he came and he gave us the directions how to get there. So to me that was, well, I like Dillard's anyway, but that's a different story.
But would you go back to that store that didn't have the rug?
Yes.
Because of that service.
I will go back because it's the service, and then we'll go back to Nick when he was saying how he did. Because I'm famous. I'm one of them people that won't hush and just want to get what I want. So he would be the prime example, and I would be thinking about Porterhouse, and I would say, okay, he told me all this, but he didn't have that service, but he do have this service. So I'm gonna go back to him because
There
of
you
what he
go.
provided. So because of how nice he is. I'm one of those that talk, and if you don't talk right or whatever, I tell her, we're not going there. I'm not spending my money because I don't like how you talk.
And that's the greater concept of customer service that we're talking about
Yeah.
right here. That's what customer service is. Allegra?
Well, I was thinking about the finance class in Mariah's High School. They did have a course on interest rates, home buying, finance in the home ec department, but it wasn't well advertised, and it was an elective.
Right.
So I only thought that would be a
Yeah.
good thing to teach
It's
everybody.
it's not a normal thing.
Yeah, and Los Alamos, when
So
we
we-
went
that's
there,
what we did.
they gave the classes there,
Yeah.
finance
So I
classes and
daughter had
stuff
it in
like
high
that.
school, but it was only because she was
In that elite,
elite classes with those particular students.
no, because it
and,
was an elite area, wasn't it?
Yeah, the area we was living in is the highest PhD area in the whole country.
Wow.
And so when we moved there and our daughter got to that high school, okay, she was exposed to those things that we had never been exposed to in high school in Georgia. When she came here 2 years ago to go to high school, she was so far ahead, we had to find things for her to take just to graduate from the high school here, because she had already had all the stuff, but they said that she had to take extra number of credits
Yeah.
to graduate from Idaho High School, but she didn't need any of the stuff they had on the books. So it just a whole different, we learned so much just with the last 2 moves, that there's so many things out there in the world that we're just generically not exposed to, that could make us a better team.
But see, even then when you even consider the school paradigm,
Right.
schools don't adjust to your
Right.
child like
They didn't
yours.
adjust
So
to it.
if your child can test out,
Yeah.
why is there a requirement for the electives?
Yeah,
If they can
yeah.
test out, if they know, if they have the knowledge and they can test out,
But it took,
why make them do
yeah,
it?
but it took Sheila and I going into the school 3 times.
There you go.
We had
That's
to go,
right.
she ended up taking 2 online courses. She went to 2 high schools here to take some courses, and then with the EIT to take the other course. But we had to, as parents, had to go and follow up 3 or
That's
4
right.
times, and had 3 different buckets she was in just to fill her time.
Mm-hmm.
But she wouldn't have known that.